The term travel hacking is probably not new to you. You've probably travel hacked to some capacity before, but if not, then no worries. You're still in the right place. Either way, I'm here to share with you my 5 surefire tips that have helped me become a travel hacking expert and share them with you so that you can become a travel hacking expert too. But before we get into all that, allow me to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Lani, and I'm just a normal person like you, except for I haven't paid for a vacation in over 10 years. I have traveled multiple countries across multiple continents, and it's all been because of points and miles that I've accrued through regular spending with a few credit cards and very strategic travel hacking. Now, before we get started, let me state that these are my own personal tips that work for me. There is no definitive or correct way to hack travel. Whatever works for you and gets the most value that you're satisfied with is the correct way. So if you have a better way or another tip, then just leave it in the comments down below and let's continue to share this wealth and knowledge with the community. Outside of that, disclaimer has been approved. Let's get started. So for me, the one question that I always get from friends or anyone that hears about my travels is, Lani, what's the most valuable piece of advice for someone like me to get started? And it's simple, and it takes us to number 1. Pick your partners. For example, if I were to ask you, what airline do you fly? How would you respond? 99% of the time, the responses that I hear back are whoever has the best price. The problem with this is that companies reward loyalty. So story time. 2 people are checking into a hotel. Person 1 is recognized in the system as someone that stays at that hotel or within that hotel chain regularly, maybe 2-3 times a year. Person 2, they never heard of. That person doesn't even have an account with that hotel chain. They booked the exact same room for the exact same dates and arrived the exact same time. Now, person 1 ends up in a quieter room that has a view that overlooks the park. And person 2 is next to the elevator and their view is over the parking garage. Why do you think that is? By remaining loyal to a particular partner, in this case a hotel, they give you that loyalty back. They'll give you those free upgrades or extra amenities. One great example for me is Las Vegas. I stay at one hotel every time that I go to Vegas, and now I can book the cheapest room in that hotel and I'll always be upgraded, or they'll always give me a credit for the buffet or something of that nature. I never ask for it. They always greet me by name and treat me with the highest amount of customer service that they can because I'm a loyal customer. They know I could go anywhere else on the strip, but because those companies reward that loyalty, you'll start seeing it come back tenfold at a time. The issue that this creates by hopping around to different airlines and hotels is those loyalty points and miles that you receive are now dispersed across multiple accounts versus funneled into single accounts. Now, when it comes to paying $0 for travel, you need points and miles, and in some cases, a lot of them. So funnel them into your go-to partners. What I would recommend is pick 2 partners. For your airlines, pick a domestic and an international, preferably part of the same alliance, and then hotels, kind of the same. You can pick your main hotel and your backup. For me, my go-to airline is United. I grew up in Illinois. Chicago is the main United hub, headquartered right there in Chicago, of course. So I've been flying United my entire life. They are both a domestic and an international airline. In the event that they don't fly somewhere that I want to go and I have to take a different airline, In this case, my plan B is Lufthansa. They're both part of the Star Alliance. I can actually book Lufthansa's flight through the United website and still get United miles when I take the flight. An example of this is if you don't fly Delta regularly, or you don't fly through Delta's hubs regularly, then I wouldn't recommend signing up for a Delta card. Whatever the intro spend would be for a brand new Delta card, you could use that amount of money for point stacking on a card that does fit within your setup, or a retention offer for a card that you already have. Which takes us to number 2, and that is get status. There's plenty of ways to do it. The long way is to be loyal to one of your partners and work your way up the status ladder. Now, international flights with airlines make it really simple. So I'm going to use United again as an example. I recently took a trip from SFO to Seoul, South Korea, flying business class. That one round trip flight basically got me platinum status for the next year already. And a single US to international trip, usually about 12+ hour flight, will get you from nothing to silver or gold status. And if you were to do that with business class, you most likely are going to go gold to platinum. And then if you can do that 2 times a year, you're most likely going to end up with most airlines top tier status, the 1Ks or the diamonds. In addition to that, there are also credit cards that can also guarantee you status. So if a card itself doesn't do it, there's other cards like the Built MasterCard, which recently ran a promotion for gold status at Hyatt, and then even Amex. Amex Gold or Amex Platinum can also sometimes guarantee you status either by having the card or providing a promotion. In step 3, we're gonna get into actually booking said travel. So step 3 is use your airline miles to book hotels. And there's a reason why. One, a lot of people don't realize you can use your airline miles for other things outside of flights, hotels, rental cars, etc. The thing is, and I'll get to this in step 4, is those miles for hotels are way more valuable to me than using the frequent flyer miles to actually book the flight. Let me explain why. So when you take a flight that was actually paid for with money, you get frequent flyer miles when you fly. Those particular miles, you can always turn around and use them for another flight or use them for something else. Now, the reason why I personally use my miles for hotels is because when I fly internationally, especially first class, business class, you can get 70,000 miles easy on a round trip ticket. Those 70,000 miles can be transferred to a hotel through the airline travel portal. In this case, let's keep using United. Their hotel portal is almost the same as Chase's and anywhere else, Expedia, wherever else that you book hotels through. Because you have so many miles, in this case 70,000 for example, that can easily transfer to 2 free nights at the hotel. Now there's a caveat to that, and I'm gonna get to that in number 4, which is use your points to buy your flights. Here's why. So in my previous video, I had mentioned that the Chase rewards portal and Chase points are the most valuable to me in my personal setup. The thing is with my Chase Sapphire Reserve card, every point that I get gets an extra 1.5 redemption value when I use that portal. So it's almost like I get a discount on my points when I book flights through there. The trick is, because Chase is paying for the ticket, when I actually fly, I still get miles. So I'm using points, and when I fly, I'm getting miles from the airline. And because Chase actually paid for that ticket for me, I still get all my status and perks when I fly. So I can be put on the upgrade list. I get miles for when I fly. I get all the extra perks that comes with my status with that particular airline. Going back to number 3, why I don't use my miles for flights is because when you use your miles, you basically get the ticket for free. The airline is giving you that ticket for free. So all those perks go away. You don't get a free upgrade. You don't get free snacks. You don't get any free perks or benefits outside of your status. And it's because you didn't pay for the ticket. Chase paid for the ticket. Chase cut the check to the airline, which means it was paid. So now I get all the perks as if I bought the ticket myself. And then that brings us to my tip number 5, and that is to plan ahead. In most cases, you can book hotels and flights a year in advance. So do your research ahead so that when you're ready to book, you already are prepared for it. What I mean by that is, where do you want to go? Where do you want to stay when you get there? What is it that you want to do? Will you need a rental car? Do you want to go see a museum? Do you want to go see architectural or take a tour of the city? Plan it all out in advance so you know exactly what you're looking for and the cost of it before you book the trip. For me personally, I plan trips far in advance and I just bank them. If you would like to see my Excel sheet that I use to just book trips, leave a comment down below so that I can make a video on that and share it with you later. But for example, if I wanted to visit Japan, what parts of Japan? Do I want to go to Nagano in Tokyo? And when I get there, where do I want to stay in Tokyo? Let's write down a couple of lists of hotel options, maybe 2 or 3. How am I going to get to Nagano? Am I going to take the train? Are we going to fly or whatever? Put all of this into your Excel sheet and then also the cost of it all. So that way you can budget for it, as well as if you could use points, the points of it as well. So you can budget and save those points as well. This way, when a good deal comes up, you are ready to go. You already know the hotel you want to book at, you already know the airline you want to book with, and how many points or miles it has. My Excel sheet probably has 3, 4, 5 different vacations in it at a time, and I'm just waiting on a good deal. And what I mean by a good deal is not necessarily, hey, the tickets are a little bit less right now, but when I see a transfer offer from one of my credit cards that says I can get 40% bonus, 50% bonus. Most recently, I just saw Chase had a 70% transfer bonus from Chase points to IHG hotels. So when that comes up, I can just book it. So now not only am I accruing a lot of miles, but I'm also saving a lot of points and miles as well for those specific vacations. So when I see that good deal, I can just start booking them. And then it also saves me points for another vacation or another option that may come later. And that's it. Those are my 5 surefire travel hacking tips that I use on a regular basis that help me travel literally for 0 cost. Now, once again, if you have questions or this has been very informative or beneficial for you, leave a like, subscribe, and definitely leave me a comment down below so I can answer your questions in real time or as soon as I possibly can, of course. And I would love to hear what tips and tricks that you guys use as well for your travel. And then if you're just getting started, even better. How are you building your setup? How are you building your bank of trips so that you're best prepared? Other than that, I got nothing left for you today. So I will see you on the next trip that I don't pay for. Peace.